What are some reasons why livestock producers might be more successful than other livestock producers? Is it just the case that all of them are the same, or are some actually more successful?
So Peter, I'm really happy to be here, and I think this relating it back to the industry and crossing those gaps is going to be key, right, to understanding in the course. It is really true that some livestock producers are significantly more successful than others. And if you look at the industry, let's just talk about pigs in the United States over the last 30 years. Collectively, the industry really hasn't made any money, but a narrow set of producers have made a tremendous amount of money, and others have not. And so we've seen this transition. Some are much more competitive than others are within the industry. And it's a commodity business, right? So all livestock production, whether we're talking milk production or beef production or poultry production or pigs, it's commodity. And so when we think about what makes a commodity business successful in livestock is really the ability to control cost.
Okay, costs. So it would be true that there are some firms that are more successful, that this is a relevant question.
It's a really relevant question because what we've seen is those that understand how to identify and manage and reduce cost over time, both total cost and cost per unit produced, are much more successful. So I know you've talked about that there's really two ways to be more successful: add value or add revenue to the business, or lower cost of production. And some of that has happened in livestock production, on the live animal side, on the revenue side, but the real big driver has been this reduction in cost, and the really successful firms have identified mechanisms and methods to reduce cost.
Fantastic, Jim. So then, I guess to wrap this up, why should a livestock vet care about understanding and learning about strategic management?
Yeah, so it's not what those of us that work in production every day, whether we're a veterinarian or the production guy, think about, right? We tend to think about the pig and the biology and what happens, and so that's great, but if we think about how a business functions, we really keep score with money, right? With dollars in the United States, or with baht or yuan or whatever, what are you dealing with? And so if I don't understand how we strategically manage the business, I don't really understand how the business makes money. And as a producer and as a veterinarian, and I've done both, I do both, it's been really helpful for me to understand, how do I make money? How does this business make money? And how do we make the business more competitive relative to its peers? So how does it become more successful? And by understanding that, I've been able to really talk to senior management, or be a senior manager in my case, to help explain, hey, we should do this and not that. Or why are we doing this? And being able to communicate that both up the chain to senior management, but also really down at the level of operations, has been really important in driving those businesses and making them successful.
Super.
So as I think about it, you asked the official question, are some businesses more successful than others? Absolutely. One of the things that's really been critical is that I look across a large set of businesses in livestock when the middle management and even lower level frontline managers understand how does strategy work, what are we trying to do, and that's communicated up and down the chain, the whole business is more successful.
And that's true, I think, in all fields, and it's great to hear that you can situate that in the industry of livestock production. Thanks. This has been a super introduction in helping us sort of appreciate the context and appreciate how the content of the course will actually help those in the context, the industry of livestock production, be more effective managers and more effective veterinarians. So thanks, Jim. Appreciate this initial interview and look forward to subsequent interviews where we try to apply and situate in context the stuff that we're learning, the content that we're learning in the course.